Ric Flair wants Stone Cold Steve Austin to face a three-time U.S. champion at WrestleMania. Bianca Belair discloses a special moment in her feud with Doudrop. And Ronda Rousey says her body feels better in wrestling than it did in MMA. What's up, everyone? I'm Jose G. There's a lot to talk about today in today's Sportskeeda Wrestling's WWE News Roundup. Never miss brand new content by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Ric Flair wants Stone Cold Steve Austin to face a three-time U.S. champion at WrestleMania. Ric Flair seems excited about the potential return of Stone Cold Steve Austin to the ring. On his latest episode of Woo Nation, he stated that Kevin Owens would be a great opponent for Steve Austin at WrestleMania 38. Rumors have recently circulated about the potential return of Stone Cold Steve Austin to WWE for a match at WrestleMania. Since it will be in his home state of Texas and the company still has tens of thousands of tickets left to sell, it makes sense to bring him back if he's medically cleared to do so. The leading candidate to work with Austin at WrestleMania is none other than a star who idolized him as a child, Kevin Owens. The former Universal Champion and three-time United States Champion received praise from Ric Flair, who said that he deserves to face Austin more than anybody on the roster. On the same episode, Ric Flair said that he is aware that Stone Cold Steve Austin has always kept himself in good shape. However, he also stated that Steve Austin's career-ending injury was far more severe than Edge's, who made a comeback after 9 years away. He also admitted that it's hard to believe that Austin hasn't had a match since 2003 when he was just 39 years old. Austin is now in his late 50s, so it will be interesting to see how WWE handles a potential comeback match. Renee Paquette reveals why she didn't join Jon Moxley in AEW after her WWE exit. Renee Paquette has been gone from WWE for a while now. She left in the summer of 2020 during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic that year. She hasn't signed with any promotion, although she continues to cover wrestling through her broadcast. She recently revealed the duration of her non-compete clause with WWE and why she didn't sign with AEW. Many assumed that post-WWE, Renee Paquette would join her husband Jon Moxley in AEW. For some, it was a far-gone conclusion, but it never happened. In an appearance on the Shaq Wrestling podcast, the host addressed the fact that everybody keeps asking Renee about the possibility of her signing with AEW. When asked the duration of her non-compete clause with WWE, Paquette revealed that she was bound for 1 year. Renee Paquette previously revealed in early 2021 to Chris Van Vliet that the reason she didn't want to jump ship to AEW was that she didn't want to be known exclusively as the wrestling girl. The host of Shaq Wrestling Podcast mentioned that fans are used to seeing people like Renee in a certain role, that when they branch out to do something else, they get protective. However, Renee Paquette has always been open about her various interests and doing something else. Ultimately, her decade-long tenure with WWE will serve as a stepping stone to bigger things in the future. Bianca Belair discloses her special moment in her feud with Doudrop. Former SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair has disclosed a special moment in her feud with Doudrop. Both women have been battling each other in a series of matches over the past few months in a bid to face Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. The 32-year-old won the Women's Elimination Chamber match in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia by pinning Alexa Bliss. Doudrop was also part of the contest but was eliminated earlier on in the match. In a conversation with WrestleTalk, Belair explained that hitting Doudrop with a KOD made her feel like she was the strongest, saying, quote, "I love to get in the ring with Doudrop. I love that feud too because I feel like I got to show a different side of me. I'm used to being the person in there that's the bigger person and stronger and tougher, but Doudrop, she's a strong competitor, so I got to show more of my athleticism with her. But to be able to finally KOD her after she had been running from me week after week, I feel like that was a special moment there. And I really wanted to prove that I was the strongest. I train all the time for it, and it was just my moment to prove it in that moment." End quote. Lita names the superstars she'd like to face in WWE. WWE Hall of Famer Lita says that she'd love to share the ring with several current stars, such as Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. The Hall of Famer made her WWE in-ring return during the Women's Royal Rumble match, where she traded blows with several stars. She recently collided with Becky Lynch at Elimination Chamber for the coveted Raw Women's Championship. With WrestleMania only a few weeks away, there are countless stars we'd love to see her face in the ring. Doing a recent interview with Alistair McGeorge of Metro, Lita stated that she'd love to resume her program with Charlotte Flair and wrestle other stars such as Natalya and Rhea Ripley. The Extreme Diva and Big Time Bex put on one of the best matches at the recent Premium Live event in Saudi Arabia. Although the former came up short, she still put on a very good performance. Lita recently took to Instagram to thank the fans for the incredible support they gave her. Ronda Rousey says her body feels better in wrestling than it did in MMA. Current WWE superstar and former UFC Women's Bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey has spoken about the effects of combat sports on her body. Before WWE, she was a professional MMA fighter in the UFC and was one of the biggest stars of the sport, becoming the first female champion in the promotion's history. However, in a recent Facebook live stream, the baddest woman on the planet discussed both sports, comparing the toll they take on the body, but ultimately stating that judo was more difficult than both. Rousey also discussed her current physical condition following her WWE return and stated that wrestling doesn't make her feel out of breath like MMA or judo. After her return at the Royal Rumble, Ronda Rousey outlasted 29 other women to win the 2022 Women's Battle Royal. This earned her a title match in the main event of WrestleMania 38. After much speculation on her choice, Rousey challenged SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Thanks for watching today's Sportskeeda Wrestling WWE News Roundup. For exclusive content that you never want to miss, you gotta subscribe to our YouTube channel and smash that notification bell so you never miss whenever we drop brand new content. Follow us on all social media and download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.